Hey everybody, I'm John Fairless and I'm here from the Connection Café. This is our next YouTube segment. I'm glad you came to join us today. We're talking about those days when life gets on your last nerve. Did you know, I think I once saw a red, white, and blue 1976 Vegas. Sorry, that's an old inside joke, but I just had to throw it in. We're continuing to explore the body's fascinating cognitive freeway, officially known as our neural network, our nerves. Now, our bodies have a whole bunch of nerves, those tiny, tiny little buggers that send electric signals to regulate pretty much every bodily function that we have. 7 and a whole bunch of zeros, 7 trillion nerves is our best guess as to the number that are packed inside our human form. That's a lot. Now, there's a picture of a nerve. They're kind of ugly when you see one of them up close and personal, but they sure do get the job done. No nerve is more mighty or impressive than the vagus nerve. It is the 10th of 12 nerve siblings that originate in the brain and travel down to the other parts of the body. The vagus is the longest nerve pathway in the body, reaching literally from your head down to your lower intestines. It carries directions from brain central down through the heart and to the lower extremities. You could say, and of course you'd be correct, that the vagus nerve is how you know something in your heart or you feel it in your gut. Officially, the vagus nerve network regulates these functions: relaxation with deep breathing. The vagus nerve communicates with the diaphragm, and when we take deep breaths, we tend to feel more relaxed. We'll talk in another session about how the diaphragm helps us breathe correctly. Decreasing inflammation. The vagus nerve also sends anti-inflammatory signals to other parts of the body. Lowering your heart rate and your blood pressure. If the vagus nerve is too overactive, it can lead to the heart being unable to pump enough blood around the body. In some cases, excessive vagus nerve activity can cause the loss of consciousness and even organ damage. We want to calm it down. And finally, fear management. The vagus nerve sends information from the gut up to the brain, which is what links us to dealing with stress, anxiety, and fear. Hence the saying, a gut feeling. These signals help a person to recover from stressful and scary situations. Tip of the hat to Medical News Today for helping us learn those facts. It's that last little ditty that interests us most for today's thoughts. We'll be coming back to the mighty vagal nerve pathway several more times in the future, but right now we're most interested in calming ourselves when we feel stressed or anxious or afraid. All of those things happen pretty naturally, and our body's early warning system has stood us in good stead for generations of human development. Animals also have vagus nerves too, though they're not as highly developed. But as we saw in our last session, the overabundance of stimulation in our world has put the poor vagus in a pitiful state. Our alarm signals are going off all the time, and it is wearing us out. And I dare say it's making us grouchy. So how do we get ourselves calmed down and cleared out a bit? How do we take a break when life gets on our very last vagal nerve? Well, I promised you some quick and easy tips for calming, and that's what we're going to do. How do we take care of this nervous bad boy of the body? These tips are courtesy of Dr. Jerry Ennis of Ennis Integrative Body-Mind Therapy. Dr. Ennis suggests slow, rhythmic breathing using the diaphragm. Splashing cold water on your face, or if you have time, taking a cold shower. These simulate the dive reflex, which is associated with stimulating the vagus nerve. You can also achieve the same effect by holding a Ziploc bag filled with ice cubes against your face and holding your breath. Or you can just submerge your tongue in cold liquid. One of the things we like to do best here at the Connection Café, meditating or doing yoga. I have some colleagues that are going to share with us in later episodes about their practice of yoga. Humming or making certain sounds like voo or Those sounds stimulate the vocal cords and they facilitate long, slow exhalation. You see how often the breath is coming up here? Stay tuned. We're going to be talking about the breath quite a bit. Then there's this thing called the Volsolva Maneuver. This is when you exhale against a closed airway by keeping your mouth closed, something that's hard for me to do, and pinching your nose while trying to breathe out. You know, you probably did that when you were a kid. It increases the pressure inside of your chest cavity, thereby stimulating your vagus nerve. Or there's prosody, which is the act of speaking slowly, rhythmically, and melodically, as if you're soothing a young child or a pet. It'll be okay. Don't worry. It's all going to be okay. That's prosody. You can spend time in nature. You can think positive thoughts about other people. You can engage in positive social relationships. Or another one of my favorites, you can laugh out loud. A full belly laugh stimulates the vagus nerve, and besides that, it's contagious. Get somebody to tell you a joke. Whew, give it a good laugh. Feels good. Engaging in prayer is a way to help lower this overstimulation. And mild exercise, get up and take a walk. This stimulates the gut flow and the vagus nerve. Massages, even gently massaging around the carotid sinus, which is located here on the sides of your neck, can stimulate the vagus nerve. Gargling, something I didn't think about. Gargling activates the vagus nerve by activating those muscles in the back of the throat while exhaling slowly. Now, not a single one of the activities on this list costs a nickel, and they don't take more than 5 minutes out of your day either. So I'd like to suggest that you try one or two, or maybe more than that. Try those this week and give us a comment below, either here on the YouTube channel, put a comment down there, or if you're watching this while you're on the newsletter page and you can go back and read the list, put a comment at the bottom. I bet you that if you comment, your vagus nerve will feel better this week anyhow. No, I'm just kidding. But I would really like to see what you think, and also everybody else can share too. Remember, sharing is caring. So let's try out a few things this week. Throw a comment down there. Be sure you're subscribed. Give us a like, all those good positive things. And we'll see you next time on the Connection Cafe.